Hey guys, what is up? Happy Thursday. So before we get into the Ask Laurel thread, I just got a couple of announcements that I feel is important for you to know. And the first thing is I see a lot of people always wondering, where can I see all of the replays from these Ask Laurel lives that I do here on Thursday? And the answer to that is if you go to my YouTube channel, which is by the way, youtube.com/The Laurel Show. And you scroll down, there is a playlist that's called the Ask Laurel Live Replays from the $7 a month program. And the reason that I put them on YouTube is because some of the students whose first language is not English, they find it a lot easier to follow using their own language transcribed on YouTube. So that's the reason why I put them on YouTube. Another thing that I want to tell you guys is that we're already planning the next ads blitz. Tickets are already going fast. We started promoting it yesterday, and every single time that we do these ads blitz promotions, we sell out super, super fast. So make sure that you get on this list. I do personally deliver all of the links and everything that controls the amount of tickets that we can sell. But if you have taken part in a previous ads blitz, your invitation is actually waiting inside your inbox right now. But the one that we're going to be doing in December is going to be a 2-day troubleshooting and optimization blitz. And so if you have ads that are not working, this is going to be the thing to actually attend, because over 2 days in a 90-minute session, you're going to learn how to do a profit projection for any ad campaign. And by the way, coming up here in a couple of minutes, I'm actually going to show you guys how to do a profit projection campaign for a slow funnel. You're going to learn the KPIs to track and which ones to ignore, because there's a lot of people who tell you to track these things, and honestly, like it could get overwhelming. And so I'm going to show you guys what KPIs you need to track, which to ignore, how to fix any ad that's not working, and which ones to actually ditch altogether, how to properly scale. And by the way, it's not by just raising the budget. And the 3 things every marketer needs to know about running ads in 2025, because things are about to get a lot harder. The details, and if you would like a seat, just go ahead, and you can see already students are grabbing the first dibs list. We do have 100 seats, and you can see 51 comments already, and we had a bunch of sales from email as well. So make sure you grab your seat before we sell out. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig into the Ask Laurel thread. Every single week, make sure that you're going through this featured section. For some of you guys, it's going to be here on this carousel. For some of you guys, you might have to go and actually hit the featured, or in some platforms, it's called the announcement section. So either way, make sure that you're checking this every single week. One of the things that I did make for you guys is an ecosystem glossary that I actually put inside the featured section for you guys. And I also put it inside the Get Ready protocol. So if you go into the Get Ready protocol in the ads ecosystem, you should start with, I added it. Which brings me to this announcement as well. If you haven't watched the most recent ecosystem bootcamp, students say that this is the clearest I've ever explained the ecosystem in the easiest way. And I also included the slides from that bootcamp training and the entire ecosystem guide, which you can literally get. It's from start to finish. So for those of you guys who would rather read about the strategy, I included the entire book. I also included this glossary of terms that a lot of students were saying, hey, I really would love to have this. And then I also included the slides from the training as well, so that you guys can actually see all of the stuff that we did inside the boot camp. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and dig into the Ask Laurel thread. Again, it's going to be in the featured section every single week. Also, one more thing before I get in. If you haven't read this thread about the new rules that we have here inside the Facebook group, I would love for you guys to read about engaging the field. It's a very, it's one of my favorite principles that Nick Peterson has actually taught me, and something that we've been executing with our Lean on Laurel students, and it has made a world of difference, and I could already tell the big difference that it's making here inside this program. So just take your time going through the featured section and read some of the stuff that we have here. Super valuable, especially about the rules about using the Facebook group. So let's go ahead and dig into the Ask Laurel thread. Again, deadline for these Wednesday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Sometimes we shut it off a little early when we're traveling. And then I answer them on Thursdays here whenever I get a chance. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon right now. But typically I do them on Thursdays unless I'm traveling. If you guys have any questions about the Ask Laurel thread, you can likely find the answer right here. My one ask is that you please read the rules before posting. I really hate it when my team comes to me and they're like, hey, we had to delete a couple of questions from the Ask Laurel thread because they broke the rules, and I don't like that. So just make sure you're following the rules. My team doesn't have time to go back and forth on telling you what rule you broke and everything, because rules are pretty laid out here on the post. But let's go ahead and dig in. Sergio says, hey, Laurel, when doing retargeting, I've seen people set up a campaign so that after someone reaches 50% of one ad, they see ad number 2. If they see 50% of ad 2, they see ad number 3, and so on. My question is, do you recommend this retargeting strategy? And if you do, in what circumstances would this be used versus having all of the ads in sequence shown at the same time? So this is a really great question. I love questions like this. So for my clients who have a very large ad budget, we will show them in sequence. But for people who don't have a very large ad budget, you have to remember that the whole point is to add people to your invisible list. If you are only running one video at a time and you're having to wait for people to go through the sequence, it's going to take a lot of people, right? Because if you're launching one video and to get people to 50% views, it won't even start retargeting people to the next video until you've had 500 people watch at least 50%. And so if you're paying, 25 cents per 50% view, it's going to take a lot of budget for you to even get enough people into that funnel to be able to funnel down to the next video and to the next video. And so that's why I recommend, but I will say this, whenever I first designed the power content strategy, it was for people who are spending, 6 figures a month on Facebook ads. And so we used that strategy right here that you're asking about as a way to actually funnel people through a very specific video funnel, right? We used to do power content number 1, and if they watch a certain percent, they would get power content number 2, and so forth, right? And then we would funnel them into the power offer. I still use that strategy with a lot of clients, but again, if you don't have a lot of volume, it's going to take a super long time to get that to actually work. And so that's why I allow you guys to have all 3 power content videos running, because we want to figure out which one is going to bring in the most in the invisible list. So it's all about volume at this. But that was such a great question, Sergio. I love the way you were thinking. Nicole says, I'm going through optimizing your first content flywheel, and I got confused in optimizing the phase 1 ecosystem beyond the first 7. So she's talking about the phase 1 ecosystem and optimizing the first flywheel right here. A lot of people skip this lesson for some reason. So thank you, Nicole, for watching it. She says, can you clarify for me, when I'm assessing my conversion multiplier KPIs, do you count comments differently than messages? I saw spots to record both on the handwritten KPI, but I had assumed messages, comments were effectively the same since I message everyone who comments me with a keyword, who I serve as nursing students. Okay, so Nicole, it is 2 separate things, because not everyone who comments is actually going to respond to the messenger conversation, right? And by the way, if you are having an issue getting people to respond to you in Messenger, it is quite normal for cold traffic. Industry standards, about 40% will respond to you in Messenger for cold traffic. So 60% of people will not even respond, and that is completely normal. And that's why it's important to actually run the ecosystem over time, because once we're able to run those conversion multipliers just to warm traffic, your response rate in Messenger is going to go up. But no, comments and Messenger, they're 2 different KPIs, because not everyone who comments is actually going to respond to you in Messenger. So we would definitely want to track both of those. Great question. Carlita says, I just watched the e-commerce workshop and I got confused on where to go after. Do I return to which type of offer? No. So you will just go ahead and launch. So the reason that I created some shortcuts for people in e-commerce and brick and mortar and real estate is because you guys don't have to consume as much content as everyone else, because your products are cut and dry, right? You don't have to convince someone to buy a yo-yo. You don't have to convince someone to go eat a slice of pizza or something like that, right? You don't have to convince someone to buy a house. Like, that is pretty straightforward, right? And so you guys, all you have to do is literally watch the training and get started and go to work. Like, that is easy. go ahead and start going through the strategy right here. If you look at this, it's got all of the campaigns, which ones are conversion campaigns, which ones are video view campaigns, the retargeting, everything. Once you guys watch this video, you create the content, go launch the ads, and then track the metrics, and bring them to these calls. Any ads that aren't working, bring them to these calls. But yeah, go ahead and start funneling people to your Puppet Play game. Let's see. Dominique says, good evening. I'm in phase 3 and I have an ebook funnel. My budget is $700. My ebook is called 10K in 6 months. My OTO upsell cost is $147. My OTO is $97. My goal is to make $45,000 in 3 months. So this is something that I really want to spend a little bit of time on with you guys today, because it is super important that you guys know how to have realistic expectations when it comes to Facebook ads. So there's a couple of things that are a little red flaggy for having these expectations, and this is why you guys are here, right? You're here to learn, because there's so many people who are not showing you guys what's realistic when it comes to ads. So the first thing that is the red flag thing, kind of like not necessarily red flag, but something that I definitely would not do, is run this offer on Facebook, because this is a high risk, going to get your ad account shut down type offer. This is an income claim. That is a huge no-no. The FTC is breaking down. They are cracking down super, super hard right now on these types of offers. Plus, Facebook won't even let you run anything like this. Like, it's going to automatically shut down your ad account. You cannot run ads for income claims of people of actually, like, promising this. But there's another thing that's also unrealistic about this. So your budget is only $700 and you want to make $45,000 in 3 months with your free ebook, and then there's an OTO. So what I've done is I've actually we're gonna do some math here, okay? So this is what your funnel actually looks like, right? So you're getting people to download the email ebook, right? Then you're going to get them into buying a $97 offer, and then upselling them into a $147 offer, right? And you want to make $45,000 in 3 months, okay? But your budget is only $7, okay? So let's actually put that in, okay? So if we're going to run Facebook ads, on average, you're probably going to pay $2 a click. But even if, let's just say you're lucky and you're going to pay $1 a click, and so let's say you get 700 visitors if you're paying $1 a click, right? So if you're paying $1 a click, you're going to get 700 people here. Now, only 30% industry standards people will opt in, right? Let's just say 30%. Industry standards actually 20%, but let's go big on these numbers, right? And then you want 6% of people to buy the $97 upsell, and then about 10% to buy the $147, okay? So I'm going to hit the simulate button, and we're going to see how close you would be to actually hitting your goal of $45,000 in 3 months, okay? So let's simulate this. So you can see right here that your cost per acquisition per customer would be $58. And so your monthly revenue would only be $1,000. Okay. So you would only be profiting about $569 if you spend, right? So you would spend, $741, on traffic, and you would make $1,300. So you're not even close to being able to hit your $45,000 goal, because you're only at $569. And so this is why it's super important that we do profit projections. So let's just say it's $700 a month that you have, right? Because I think you just said I have a $700 budget, but let's just say that you have a $700 a month budget, right? That's going to give you, if you do for 3 months, that's going to be 2,100 clicks, right? Because if you do 700 times $1 per click, times 3 over 3 months, you'll get 2,100 clicks. So let's just kind of simulate just to kind of see what that would look like. And we could simulate here again, and you're still looking at only $1,800 profitably if you do that, right? So you'll spend, you'll have spent $2,100. You would have made $4,000. but you're still nowhere near your $45,000 goal. And so that's why I love doing these profit projections with my students. Anytime someone's coming into LOL, lean on Laurel. This is the first thing that we do is we sit down and we're like, okay, what is the goal? As a matter of fact, I don't even let people into my program until we do this first. And this is my advice for any of you guys who are running an ad agency, running a consulting program similar to mine. If I have a student who has unrealistic expectations based upon what they tell me in an application, I will send them a Loom video very similar to the one that I'm doing now. And I will say, hey, look, realistically, here's what we're looking at. And sometimes it makes sense for them not to join my program at all. And so I would say, Dominique, like for you, it does not, this is not a realistic expectation just by looking at the numbers, but also this offer is not compliant with Facebook. So hopefully that was helpful. But if you want to jam on what you should name your offer or name your ebook, submit it for the next Ask Laurel thread. If I knew a little bit more about that offer, give me some context about it. I can help you come up with a compliant offer for this. And then we can also come up with a strategy that's going to, that has a more realistic goal. Because if you're only spending $700, and this is if everything goes right? You're profitable, but here's the thing, your upsells and your OTOs have to meet industry standards. And most people, it takes a lot of tweaking to even get it this, because I did kind of a best case scenario funnel for you. But you can see even best case scenario is very, very far from what you were trying to accomplish. So that's why I just think this is a great exercise for everyone. Let's see. Steve says, hey, Laurel, I'm running ads for 2 restaurants. At the moment, we're using a third-party reservation service like OpenTable, so we can't track purchases. That's fine. You don't need to really necessarily track purchases for restaurants. We have a good size and visible list for retargeting. For my retargeting ads, should I run them as lead ads and optimize for schedule, standard conversion event? That effectively what they're doing when they book a table. It depends on what OpenTable actually lets you do. On their end. One of the things that we do with restaurant clients in order to be able to track the amount of people that are coming with ads is having some specific offer just for people who are on Facebook. And so when people are handing the waitress or the waiter a coupon, they know that person came from Facebook. And so you can actually physically track all of the traffic that's coming from Facebook. So there are things like that. So for restaurants, we don't typically run, honestly, conversion ads. I can't even remember a scenario where we were doing something like this. Most of the time we track things through physical things like sign-up lists or coupons. Not saying that this would not work. I would just need to know a little bit more about if OpenTable actually lets you place any pixels or any tracking or anything like that. Let's see. Magdalena says, hey, Laurel, I'm setting up the ads manager for an e-commerce client, a DIY craft space of mine where we already run profitable Pinterest ads. That's awesome. I watched the e-commerce workshop, but I'm not sure where to start. We cannot set up a proper funnel because of their shop hosting. I can ask their web developer to add specific upsells to the checkout page, but that's it. They already have a large engaged following and tons of reels leading to specific products. Products range from, would you start with low-cost products and then retarget with tutorials to kind of create a funnel approach? Absolutely. I actually like where your brain is. Like, this actually tells me that you have really consumed the training and that you understand what a funnel is, because I think a lot of people think, oh, I have to have this physical clickety-click funnel thing. But what you just said is probably exactly how I would do it, especially because you already have a large following, right? Like, you have to think, like, I was listening to the Kris Jenner masterclass the other day, and she was talking about Kylie. Whenever she first launched Kylie Cosmetics, the lip kit, they did no advertising. It was just her literally on TikTok saying, or Instagram saying, hey, I've got this lip kit, here's how to use it. They literally sold out. And this is essentially what you're telling me your client has, is this following on Pinterest, and they probably have a great following on TikTok as well. All you probably have to do is run like $5 or $10 ads to those posts that are already doing well, and you'll probably sell out of your e-commerce stuff. I love engagement ads when it comes to selling e-commerce. I think that is a very underutilized strategy. And so Nick always says, look within the rear view mirror. And so instead of like trying something new, I would say, okay, what's worked? And right here, Magdalena, you're telling me that the actual organic posts are working. So cool. Let's just get those organic posts in front of more people. and we can utilize ads in order to do that. So that's what I would literally do, is I would literally just run $10 a day, $20 a day on these content pieces that are already doing really well organically, and just see what happens, and track the data. Because honestly, each product can be its own little funnel. Each piece of content could be its own little funnel without actually having to build a physical product funnel. Let's see. Han says, I don't currently have a high ticket program, only a low ticket offer. If I validate my low ticket offer using the method of running ads at $200 a day for 5 days, like you suggested, do I still need to run conversion multiplier ads to get 100 conversations a week? You do not. In the validation test, if you want to validate it super, super fast, that's how we validate the slow. Now, here's the thing. Now, remember, my ecosystem is built around a funnel. So the conversion multipliers and the power content and the retargeting, that's going to come after you've already validated that low ticket offer. Because if you need to prove that that low ticket offer is valid, we need to go into phase 2, and we need to go ahead and run this test. And then what we do is, if this test meets these minimum KPIs, then we can go back and build the conversion multiplier strategy. Then we can go back and build out the hot 7. Then we can go back and actually build out the ecosystem. So if we go into the Get Ready protocol and go into the ads ecosystem you should work with, if we go into, let's see, phase 3 right here, right? So campaign number 2, this would be the low ticket offer funnel that you're talking about in the validation test. So you would start actually with that low ticket offer validation test. Then from that test, because you're going to be spending $1,000 over a couple of days, you're going to have enough warm traffic to be able to start with the hot 7, the conversion multipliers, and the boosted posts, and then go to power content. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, so your validation test would run as campaign number 2. Let's see. Mike says, hey, Laurel, in your recent training about your entire ecosystem, you started by saying that there currently is a lot of noise in the market because of AI. Yes. While this seems to be a challenge, I also think of it as an opportunity, because it means that it's the real experts, the people who have real plank knowledge and not the chauffeur kind, who will eventually thrive. I have written a book and have appeared on several podcasts as a guest. Can you give me ideas on how to best capitalize on my book and podcast appearance when implementing your ecosystem? Should I mention it in my humble brag? Should I include a post to the link in a podcast in any of my posts? Is there a danger of cannibalizing my services by having people want to get the book instead of directly working with me if I mention it in my humble brag? I am planning to upload my book into ChatGPT and then use your Value Bomb GPT to come up with Value Bomb ideas. I will also use content from my book for power content. What other ways can you think of to leverage my book and your expertise? I think you have a really, really great start. So one of the things that I do is I run traffic ads to my Amazon book. So my book is on Amazon, and so I actually run traffic campaigns to my warm traffic, and that's how we're selling my book. It's like, again, we're selling the book, no conversion campaigns or anything like that. I'm just running traffic straight to my Amazon book. And I'm also running traffic campaigns to specific podcast episodes. I do it as well for, because a lot of people ask me, Laurel, why are you spending money sending traffic to Joel Irway's YouTube channel where you were on his podcast? Aren't you sending people to his, why are you paying for traffic sent there? Well, it's because I do a lot of podcast interviews as well. And so I want to show my warm audience that I'm doing all of these big podcasts, right? I've been guest on a lot of big podcasts. And so while I'm sending traffic to someone else's thing, it does build the authority. Like, I've gotten so many people who thought, they were like, well, Laurel, I really didn't believe you until I watched that episode with you and Joel Irway on his podcast. And I'm like, cool. Once I started hearing that a couple of times, I was like, you know what? I need to put some ads on it. Same with Vince Reed, that interview that Vince Reed does with me. I send it to my warm traffic. And so I'm running a lot of traffic campaigns to Amazon for my book. I'm running traffic campaigns to iTunes. And so I'll target mobile iPhone users and I'll send them straight to iTunes to where when they click on that, my podcast automatically pops up. I'll also send them to Android devices, and I'll send them straight to Spotify so that when they click on the ad, Spotify automatically opens up. Again, traffic ads to Amazon, traffic ads to YouTube videos, whether they're my videos or not. But that's the way that I'm using the ecosystem in order to get the word out about my book, about me being on different podcasts and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, this ecosystem is about raising awareness for your brand. And so, Mike, great questions. Man, every single person today had a great question, and that just doesn't happen every week. And so This tells me that you guys are engaging the field. You guys are going through the program, and that makes me incredibly happy. So hopefully you guys have an amazing weekend. I will see you guys next week.